Hello, today we have Paul Mann, the CEO of ASP Isotopes, trading on the Nasdaq under the ticker ASPI. Paul, welcome back.
Thank you for the interest. Good to be back.
Paul, for investors just discovering ASP Isotopes, let's start with a brief overview of the company and how it's addressing the growing global need for critical isotopes.
Yeah, so we expect to become a major supplier of critical materials to both the United States as well as other countries over the next several years. And we've built manufacturing plants in South Africa to enable things like next generation semiconductors, next generation nuclear medicine, and nuclear fuels. And the goal is for all these plants to come on stream in the next sort of year or two, and it helps some of these supply chain problems the world is seeing right now.
As you just intimated, Paul, you're targeting three major verticals: electronics, nuclear medicine, and nuclear energy. How big are these market opportunities?
Yeah, quite substantial, actually. I mean, the nuclear energy industry is obviously vast. We've spoken to customers who combined need over $38 billion in nuclear fuels over the next 10 years. So that's a very, very significant market. Others are much nicher and much smaller. Carbon 14, for example, is likely a $2.5 to $5 million market. So they vary in size, but in aggregate, they're generally pretty significant.
You've already built three enrichment facilities in South Africa. What's the current status of your commercialization efforts?
Yeah, so the three plants you mentioned, they're all different stages. So carbon 14 plant was actually constructed about a year and a half ago. We're waiting for our feedstock for the last almost 2 years now. It's good. The good news is the feedstock is on its way, and that plant should start commercial production during the second quarter. Deliveries around the middle of the year this year. While we've been waiting for our feedstock, we've been processing carbon 12. So we know the plant works and it's operating as we'd like it to. And carbon 12 isn't really a large market right now, but it could become a large market in years to come. Then for ytterbium 176, that plant shipped commercial samples in September of last year. We're waiting for our continuous processing vessel to be finished before we can really start producing large quantities of ytterbium, and that should be around the middle of this year as well. In terms of helium, not necessarily an isotope, but another critical material, we've completed the drilling of the wells there, and the plant is complete. We're just connecting the wells to the plant. That should start producing product during the third quarter of this year.
Paul, with more than $300 million in cash and substantial capital raised, how well funded are you to execute on this growth strategy?
You're actually very well funded right now. And so, of the capital that we have in the balance sheet today, we expect to invest about $170 million into the phase two of our large liquid helium plant in South Africa. And then, a few more isotope plants, each of which is at a $5 to $10 million piece. So we're very well capitalized right now. And obviously, our helium plant is going to benefit from almost $750 million of loans from the US government and from a bank. So yeah, we're very well capitalized right now.
Paul, you've outlined a target of more than $300 million in EBITDA by 2031. What are the key drivers that get you there?
Yeah, so there are a number of drivers there. So we'd expect to between 150 and $300 million electronic gases, $100 and $200 million in natural gas, and 40 to $100 million in medical isotopes, and the same again in radiopharmaceuticals. Obviously, there's some ranges there. I don't know what the price of helium is going to be in 2030 or natural gas. That can swing things quite dramatically. For example, helium prices are biased higher right now, given what's going on in the Middle East, and I don't know if that's going to stay or not. But right now, we'll be looking much more towards the high end rather than the low end on that product.
Looking over the next 12 to 18 months, Paul, what are the most important milestones investors should be watching?
Yeah, obviously we expect to start up, four plants in South Africa, three for isotopes, one for helium, start producing commercial products and selling commercial products, and that will obviously allow us to start generating free cash flow. That's the most important catalyst or event over the next sort of 12 to 18 months. In addition to that, we'll start constructing additional plants, isotope plants in Iceland, in the UK, and in the United States, as well as a very, very large helium plant in South Africa.
Final question, Paul. What is the essential value proposition? Why should investors take an interest in ASP Isotopes right now?
The world is suffering from shortages of many different critical materials, including isotopes and helium. And we aim to solve a lot of these supply chain problems over the next several years. And assuming we can do that, that should generate substantial returns for our investors. And that, in my view, is the main value proposition.
Paul, it's a great story. Thanks for being here with us today.
Thank you for your interest.